Hey, good morning, family. So, Reginald Martin here of Metaphysics, Sacred Alchemy. Kind of getting out on my walk today, and the weather has not been always cooperative, so I hadn't been able to get out every day like I normally do. But at any rate, I wanted to talk today about one of the members asked me about dealing with their family when they're having discussions about Jesus and his historicity, and he asked, they bring up Pontius Pilate, Josephus, just different extra materials, I guess, that are not biblical necessarily, that prove the historicity of Jesus. Okay, and this is what I definitely want to say to this is that, and I stopped debating and arguing with Christians many years ago. I learned that it was just it's unnecessary because ultimately you don't have to prove what you believe, okay, or what you know, because you're going beyond belief once you really get into these studies. At least I hope you are, that you're getting knowing. And two, they don't have to prove their faith to you, okay? So understand that faith is not based on anything except belief. And their belief, and this is a loop that they're in, is Christians are in, and belief is it's the foundation of their belief is their faith. Okay, so understand what I'm saying here. In order to have faith, you have to believe. Okay, in order to believe, you have to have strong faith. Okay, so in there, that loop that most Christians, and I was one of those that are stuck in, is there's no facts that are needed. Okay, and as a matter of fact, the most Christians cannot argue and debate with you based on facts, because if they started to question anything about their belief, then it weakens their faith, okay? And when it weakens their faith, that means that they are a lower level believer. And when they are a lower level believer that is lacking faith, then the outcome of that, or the possible outcome of that, is eternal damnation, okay? So you understand, you're dealing with that mentality, that to even question means the possibility of eternal damnation. And family, if you are, having been Christian and knowing that the whole idea is that your belief in Jesus is about keeping you from going to hell, family, that's monumental, okay? So that's what you're dealing with, even if they don't say that, because a lot of times these subconscious beliefs that they have are riding underneath their conscious thought processes, because they've never thought through a lot of this, okay? We were trained not to think as Christians. We were trained to simply believe and have faith, okay? So, and I'm assuming that this person, this member is talking to his family, and I don't know if he's debating or she is debating or not, but I'm assuming that has to come up at some point. This is the other part of this. Christian apologetics has been around for thousands of years, okay? Since Christianity, it's been around. And it is a whole field of study, they call it study, that is basically built on the idea of proving that Jesus existed and proving Jesus, okay? They're not looking for truth. They are looking to confirm what they believe, okay? And let's go back. I said belief has nothing to do with facts. Faith has nothing to do with facts. But they treat it, but once you get into that loop and you no longer question, then you treat your belief and your faith as facts, okay? Whether it is or not. So thousands and thousands of years of Christian apologetics, man, they have a whole body of knowledge that is built on turning anybody's disagreements inside out, okay? They even turn themselves inside out to believe, all right? So, outside of apologetics, Josephus has been proven to be a fraud. Not Josephus, I'm sorry. The Flavium Testimonium, let's be specific. The Flavium Testimonium is where supposedly Josephus, who was a historian back in these days, back around the first and second century, that actually lived, okay, that this is confirmed, but there is part of his testimonium where he makes a statement about the Messiah, okay, or as if he believed in the Messiah. Now understand that Josephus was a Jew. Why would a Jew believe in Christ or Jesus as the Messiah? Okay, so that's part of the reason why people question the Flavium Testimonium. Another part is that, and I forget the technical term, but that aspect of him talking about the Messiah was actually inserted later into the writings, okay? So there's a technical term for that. I can't remember it right offhand. But in other words, you could actually remove that part of the Flavium Testimonium, and there isn't a gap in logic when you talk about the previous paragraph, the end of the previous paragraph, and the beginning of the other paragraph after the testimonium, okay? So it's like writing a story and you remove a piece of the story and it just doesn't make sense, okay? Because there's something missing, the context or whatever, it might be missing. But with the Flavium Testimonium, that's not the case. You can remove it and then there's no loss of context or anything, okay? So that's just a couple of things. And I haven't studied that or looked at that in years, so family, I'm just going off of memory right now. But the bottom line is the proof that they use is very suspect. You got to understand the other part is that the historicity that they are talking about, how can I say this? It was 300 years after the supposed death of Christ that the ecumenical council basically said that Jesus is God and man, okay? That's where the ecumenical council of Nicaea is where they decided that Jesus was God and man and will be treated as that, okay? Before then, that wasn't the case. Before then, there was no, there were many groups that did not see a historical Christ, okay? And let's talk about Christ and Jesus, because before then, Christ and Jesus was two separate, different ideas. You would actually find these ideas in other spiritual systems. You find them all in all spiritual systems, okay? But only in Christianity is that idea made to be historical, okay? So all of that is a big part of, you know, Jesus, the historicity, trying to talk to Christians about it. The bottom line is this. if a Christian or anybody wants to believe something, there's nothing you can say to them to make them not believe it, okay? Because it's their opinion. But again, it's no facts involved here as far as the faith goes. It's only their belief that the Bible is fact and that Jesus was real is a fact. They've never studied it. Most of them have never ever looked to see if Jesus existed or not. Even if they did, they will go with the apologetics and look to prove their belief, not to see if it was true or not. Most Christians have never even considered the idea. There are many people who are atheists, who consider themselves atheists today, that have never considered that Jesus never existed, okay? But for me, I never thought about it that way either until I started studying the Kemetic knowledge and seeing how these ideas existed before they were personified in Jesus, okay? So just many people that's never even a thought or consideration. So my advice to you, brother or sister, whoever that is, I don't know. I couldn't tell by the name if it was a man or a woman. But my advice to you is to not get into debates and arguments with Christians, because one, it's a waste of time. You're not going to change their mind. And quite frankly, my question is why debate with them? For me, I don't need to convince a Christian of what I believe and what I know, okay? It's okay for me, and it's okay for them if they don't accept what I believe and know, okay? I don't need their validation, is what I'm saying. But I understand on some level how it is with friends and family, that once you find out about this knowledge, that you want them to come along with you. I mean, it's just natural and normal, you know. You want some people to congregate with, you know, and talk about this stuff, and because it can get deep, fascinating, and good, you know. So I get it, but in the end, if they don't come with you, are you going to be okay with that? And in the end, if you have to convince them one way or the other for your sanity, then that is something that is on you and not them, okay? It is not incumbent upon them to believe what you do, and vice versa. Obviously, you stepped out of that. That belief system, okay. And believe me, you had to have courage in order to do that. So definitely. But my advice, and the person asked for my advice, quit wasting your time. You know, if you're seeking validation, then at some point you're going to have to grow out of that, okay? For yourself and for your own sanity, okay? And if you feel like you need to change their mind, then that's an ego thing, you know, because you're feeling like what you believe is superior to what they believe or not. In reality, family, there's no superiority here. It's just what a person chooses, person chooses to live their life. If it works for them, keep believing. If it doesn't, then that's a signal that something needs to change. But that change has to come from within you, okay? For me, I don't need Christians to change their belief. Again, if it's working for them, keep believing, you know? I'll say that with anybody. If the things in your life are working as you wish, based on what you believe and how you pursue things in your life, keep doing those things. Don't fix what ain't broke. But when there comes a time that the things that are happening in your life are not as you want, then from a Kemetic perspective, that change has to come within you first, and then those things out there will change. It's the principle of Ma'at and reciprocity. Life is going to show you who you are, on some level, okay? So that's really what it's about. It's not about getting other people to think like you. It's not getting other people to believe like you or any of that. It's about your journey and your personal journey. Now, part of my journey is teaching these ideas, but teaching these ideas is something that lights me up from within, okay? It is not necessary that everybody believes as I do, that everybody thinks as I do, that everything that I teach is the right thing or anything like that. The bottom line for me is does it work in your life? In other words, does it bring you peace, harmony, and balance in your life? When those things are happening, then to me, that is the truth of those things. When they bring those inner states of being of peace, balance, and harmony within you. Otherwise, you know, it doesn't matter. Everything else becomes extraneous and irrelevant, you know? So, I've been there. We've all been there, where we feel like we need to talk to Christians or talk to our family and try to get them to see the light, so to speak. But at some point, I promise you, you're going to get tired of it, okay? At some point, you're going to see it's like talking to a brick wall, okay? They don't want to change. They want to believe. And when they want to believe, they just believe, you know? I never will forget, I was dating this woman, very insecure, and she was convinced that I was going to cheat on her. I hadn't cheated on her, and believe me, family, I've never cheated on a woman that I've been with. That's just not who I am. I don't need that outside validation anyway. Hell, it's hard enough dealing with one woman, let alone trying to deal with two. But anyway, I say that for me, okay? But she was convinced that I was going to cheat on her, and we were both in this dance community, and there was just women, of course, around in the dance community. And in the community, when we go out on a dance and on a Friday or Saturday night, everybody dances with each other. You know, we just change partners, and you know, there'd usually be more women than men, so the men would just, you know, as a courtesy, dance with other women, you know, and just try to help them to have a good time while they're at the dance. All right, and so there was this one particular woman that she was just flirty, you know. Now, nice lady. I wasn't interested in her in any other way, you know, except that she was just somebody there to dance with. Lord, if that woman got near me, if that woman looked at me, smiled at me, and my woman saw that, I was in for it when I got home. So she just believed I was gonna cheat. And no matter how hard I tried to tell her that she was the woman that I was with and she was the one who I cared for, she wasn't hearing it. So, you know, it's the same thing with Christians and Jesus. They're going to believe. And no matter what you say, if they want to believe it, they're going to believe it. You can say all kinds of stuff. And that was the same thing with this woman. No matter what I tried to tell her, she wanted to believe what she wanted to believe. Matter of fact, it was the last Christian woman I ever dated. So, I gave it up after that. I couldn't do it. Can't do it. But anyway, but that's it, family. So just stop trying to get them to change their mind. They're not, and quite frankly, they don't need to. So if it's working for them in their lives, then you need to pat them on the back and help them along in their life. You know, be a support to them. You know, but if it's somebody that's starting to question, then you can be there for them, okay, and help them. Otherwise, whatever. Okay. All right, family. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna continue on my walk, and you guys have an amazing day. Reginald Martin out.